Shock Monkey Radio is entertainment for adults, by adults, and the views and opinions expressed here do not reflect upon the sponsors or FXBG Public Radio. For additional information, please refer to the United States Bill of Rights. Stand warned. You think your farts smell like your dead body will smell? Do you think, or maybe, do you think maybe it's your burps are the way your dead body will smell? Or maybe it's a combination of both. So it's kind of like, smelling the future in some ways. You know why you like the smell of your own farts, right? Because it comes from your biome. It comes from the way your personal flavor as a human being. So when you smell a fart of your own, there's that poop element there to it, but there's also this bouquet of welcome home. And I think that's something you should think about, every time you're reading in the closet or something. Don't worry, this isn't going to be the Fart-Sniffer show. Welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. I'm your host, the Madman. That's just an icebreaker. I like to break the ice as soon as I can. Try not to get too serious. Did I go too far with talking about death? Because, we're all going to die. Sorry. Unless, in the next, 20, 30 years or something like that, they come up with some, pill or makes you live forever, like a bad sci-fi movie, and people are bored all the time. Yeah, living forever. What a nightmare. Anyway. Yeah, so this isn't going to be the Fart-Sniffer show. Shock Monkey Radio. I'm your host, the Madman. Follow me on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron today. I would appreciate that very much. I also have a Cash App. Use hashtag Shock Monkey Radio, all one word. You can send me money that way. You can follow me on social media at DNALETSAW on Twitter, Shock Monkey Radio Redux on Facebook, and at SLRoberts13 on Instagram. I would appreciate that. I'm always fighting with this headphone cable. Anyway. So we got a lot going on this week. We're going to get into all of it. We got Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon who got fired. Steven Crowder's going through a divorce. And maybe we'll talk about a little bit about my wasted childhood and my coming birthday. So it's like a gossip show. It's like a gossip show today. Today we're doing gossip. I'm going to hold this pose. This is a gossip show. I'm going to hold this pose so I can get a good screenshot later. There we go. All right. So this is the gossip show. I drove past this horse convention every day last week. Every single day last week. There was some sort of horse convention in town. And it was hundreds of these just big trucks and single horse trailers or double horse trailers in this one field. Hundreds of horses. People riding them. People running them around, feeding. Do you think they're breeding them there? So it's a whole week, and I'm just thinking it could get really bad in there. It could turn really bad. All those poor slaves of the horses, the humans that do all this stuff with horses, they're in terrible danger with that many horses there. What if they decide to riot? What if they decide to, they've had enough of humanity? So by the first, second day, I'm just terrified. It's what could happen to my town, Maybe that's why I had dreams about the fire mares and stuff like that, and had a lot to say about Clydesdales. It was on my mind. Driving by these hundreds of horses every single day for a week. But then by the fourth and fifth day I was driving by, I started getting almost, equestricidal. Is that how can I kill all these horses? I could go poison the food, maybe. I wouldn't do that. I'm not some sort of deranged person. Everyone is safe. But it's okay to think like that every once in a while because I'm so scared of horses. Anyway. All right, let's talk about my birthday coming up. My birthday's coming up. Usually when any kind of holiday or event comes along, I'm just if anyone asks me, it's what do you want to do? It's I want to drink beer and play video games. Take a day off. That's all I want to do. But then there, people say, "But you do that on all your unbirthdays too." And I was yeah. Okay, so we could do something different on my actual birthday. So we're going to a Fred Nats game, and if you don't know, the Fredericksburg Nationals are the single A team for the Washington Nationals. And so on the Saturday, May the 6th, I'm going up there and I'm going to watch a Fred Nats game. I don't know. It's weird saying like that when you go to a live game, a baseball game, that you're actually watching the game. You may keep track of the score, turn your head every time something happens, but I mean it's more about the experience. It's more about that park in particular. I really like it. I'm glad it's in Fredericksburg, and I'm glad I get to go on my birthday. So if you want to come down and say hi to me, I probably might wear this shirt. I know you're thinking, it's like, Madman, did you get a new shirt? And it's like, no, it's just I started washing it and hanging it up to dry in a coal mine, which gives it a nice masculine smell. Unfortunately, it gets this like grayish coal-like color. So yeah, I might be wearing the shirt, so you can spot me that way if you want to say hi, or take a selfie with me, or throw a milkshake at me. Just know I like chocolate milkshakes, and please no sacrete in it. Yeah, so yeah, if you wanted to, you can come down and say hi to me. And if you do want to like spit in my face or something like that because you don't like something I said on the show, that's fine. Just be sure to film it and like tag me on social media. I would appreciate that. So I guess usually I don't talk about my birthday or anything like that. I don't think it's that awesome that I was born. But you got to take, the older I get, the more you realize you got to take the wins where you can get it. It's like these older Hispanic ladies that work at Five Guys. They're always smiling and waving at me. They like me. Anyways, I turn them on. So it's fun like that. Anyway, so if you want to come and visit me on my birthday, May 6th down at Fred Nats Park, I can't pay your ticket. I might be in my VIP box. But I'll probably come out. I like to walk around the perimeter of the park. Number one, it's just better than sitting, because sitting with people watching the game is, I don't know, it's very it triggers my social anxiety. It's like usually I don't have social anxiety until I'm in a crowd, a bunch of people, when you're shoulder to shoulder with people. But I like to be able to walk the perimeter of the field and look at the people, look at the game from different angles. I like getting like right at the end of the left field line or the right field line. Just, I don't know. It's like it's one of those camera angles I always liked when watching baseball on TV. Anyway, my birthday's coming up. I'm excited about it. Just wanted to tell you. All right, let's start gossiping. Let's start gossiping like girls. Everyone loves to gossip, But I think women are better at it. That's why they do it more. Yeah, so that's the point. It's like, this is all just gossip. Nobody really knows like the true story behind the scenes of a lot of these things I'm going to be talking about today. And so it's all speculation. It's all just me being a catty YouTuber, I guess. But I want to talk about Don Stinky Fingers Lemon. First, he got fired from CNN. Now the rumors I heard, and reading the internets, the interwebs, and hearing the news people talk about all this stuff, the rumors I hear is that he's sexist. He's sexist. And a lot of people point to the clip of when Don Lemon said a woman, I think it was Nikki Haley. He said Nikki Haley, a woman who's in her 50s, kind of past her prime. And a lot of women got getting all Charlie Kelly. A lot of women they didn't like that, even though it's true. It doesn't negate your value as a human being. It's just like me. I'm past my prime. I'm 40. I'm going to be 46. I admit that. I'm okay with that. Doesn't mean I can't still be good looking and a valuable member of society, but hey, I'm not bench pressing what I used to, you know what I mean? And so, so a lot of people have been saying that Don Lemon is a sexist, and we, the people who are on the outside of all this, we don't really know what happens behind the camera. So that's just one event that they could point out that happened in front of the camera. Who knows how Don Lemon acts behind the scenes. After all, he checks off a couple boxes for them: black, gay, and so then people like CNN are real proud of that kind of thing for some weird racist reason, and so maybe he gets this kind of entitled feeling around the office and feels like he can say whatever he wants and so forth. You know, and it's plus there's a lot of, I don't know why, there's a lot of people who don't pick this up. I think especially like women who don't understand this underlying misogyny that happens in gay men. I don't know if it's hard to explain. It's like a lot of people like want to think that like all gay men are like close to their mothers. It's like, no, they are generally like actively hate the women in their lives, like their mothers, their sisters and stuff like that. I'm not saying that happens in every case, but there's a lot of that going on in the gay and trans community. All right. That actively hate the women, the real women in their life. You know, I guess I've seen too many parties with a bunch of gay guys and they're all taking pictures of a group. And then they're like, hey, let's get the girls out for a second. This one's just for the boys, just for the boys. And there's this underlying misogyny to it, to the entire thing. Because you got to think about it from a gay man's perspective, right? If all you care about is that dick, you know, you start to like, what's the purpose of women? Why do we need them around? You know? And because, I mean, the very idea is misogynistic in many ways. It's like, why do we need women? It's like, I don't know, they smell better and they don't grow hair on their face. Well, as rough as you and I can do, you know? It's like, if I ever got a girlfriend, and she said, shave your face. I don't like kissing you with all that stuff on your face. So I get it. I would do it, even though I have no chin and I'd look stupid. So, yeah. So Don Lemon may very well be a sexist, and that's possible, of course. But he's done a lot of things that are fireable offenses over the years. I call him stinky fingers because there was that one situation where he had to like shoved his hands down his pants and shoved his fingers in some dude's nose. You know, that came out, and you know, I'm sorry, I think that's kind of fireable. You know, that's kind of a fireable offense. Somebody who behaves like that, who's in the public eye. You know, Donald Trump did that to someone. Anyway, he'd never be able to show his face in public again. But you know. It's funny because I'm also going to be talking about Tucker Carlson, but Tucker Carlson is definitely going to land on his feet. There's no telling what's going to happen to Don Lemon because, you know, you lied for a lying network for far too long. You had to be fired in disgrace, you know, because you broke their cardinal rules or something. Like I said, this is all speculation. We don't know what's actually happening behind the scenes, but good riddance to Don Lemon. You know, if we never see him again, it would be too soon. All right. The biggest deal, the biggest story, if you ask me, is Tucker Carlson ending his relationship with Fox News, or perhaps vice versa. See, there's a lot of speculation, a lot of people talking, and, you know, even before the show, I'm reading stuff like, you know, Rupert Murdoch didn't want any more religious stuff on Tucker's show or something like that. And I'll be honest with you, you know, it's if Tucker quit, it's probably because they said you can't say something. Don't cover this topic. Don't, you know, do this. Don't do that. If he quit, I think it's one of those things. And if Fox fired him, it's probably for something like they just lost this major settlement to Dominion. Because Dominion sued them over something somebody said. It may have been Tucker for all I know. It's not like I watch Fox News. All right. And so, or it could have been him covering this new January 6th stuff, you know. And the whole point is that Tucker was telling the truth. He was an actual journalist who delivered like important, hard-hitting stuff with like incredible personality. I mean, I think he's just an incredibly likable guy. You know, and I know there's probably tons of you out there. It's like, oh, he's a big meanie. It's like, I don't know. Well, every time that dude laughs, I can't help but laugh. You know, it's an infectious laugh he has, and he has a very well-developed sense of humor, and he's not afraid to laugh, and I like that about him. But he's also very serious about what he does, and he tells stories that need to be told. And this is why when he leaves Fox News, you know, Fox News is going to start going downhill. Because most people I know who watch Fox News only watch for Tucker. All right? Yeah, I know some older people like in the boomer generation who watch The Five, and I don't really get that. But anyway, and so Tucker can leave, and he's going to bring all his audience with him. Don Lemon can go somewhere else, and Don Lemon can go start at a YouTube channel and probably wouldn't get, maybe 100,000 followers, But Tucker Carlson, I made this joke the other day with a friend of mine. It's like, I think YouTube has already shipped out a gold play button to Tucker Carlson, because if he makes a YouTube channel, he's instantly going to get millions of followers, subscribers. And the reason why he's able to do that and Don Lemon isn't is because Tucker Carlson is a more virtuous journalist. He's actively a journalist, and he presents it in a very entertaining way. Don Lemon was a liar for a lying network and was a piece of crap behind the scenes, apparently. But like I said, we can only speculate on what is actually happening. And so, I think it's when Tucker and Fox part ways and Tucker goes on to something else, probably Daily Wire. If I had to guess where he's going to the Daily Wire. And so when Tucker Carlson gets to where he's going, he is he's bringing his entire audience with him. And I think it's the death knell for old school news agencies like Fox News, like CNN, like MSNBC. It's like when the internet started becoming a thing, everyone could have become a citizen journalist. That's how Tim Pool became popular. That's how Steven Crowder became popular. That's how Andy Ngo became popular. That's how Ben Shapiro and Daily Wire became popular. These independent news sources are able, and it can be created every single day of the week. And these old monopolies, these old, agencies that had a grip on all the information in this country, it's all slipping through their fingers. And soon they're going to have to compete in the market of competitive commerce when it comes to peddling information. And if you're peddling too much disinformation, people aren't going to like you. CNN, you want to boost your ratings? Stop lying. Anyway. Tucker, come to Shock Monkey Radio. You're always welcome here, bud, but I know we can't afford you. I know we can't. But if you came to my show, it was like, it'd be so awesome. And see, wouldn't that be cool? Like next week, Tucker's here. Just sitting here. Tell me more. He's so cool. And that's what I mean. It's like, it's the only thing anybody watched on Fox News. It's like, what? That's why I think he quit. Because Fox knows he's their real moneymaker. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about Crowder's divorce. He announced, yesterday, that over the past year he's been going through a divorce. Wow. That's kind of a bombshell of information. It kind of puts everything a little bit in context now, doesn't it? Now, I know gossip. There's people out there who's like, who the hell is Steven Crowder? And it's like, who's Ben Shapiro? Who's the Daily Wire? Who is Tucker Carlson? There's so many people out there that, it's like, I don't really follow the news. It's like, well, have you noticed that, they're doing strange surgeries involving genitals on children lately? Well, because you should probably check the news in case somebody's doing something like that, as a hypothetical. But today we're not talking about that kind of stuff. Today we're talking about gossip. Crowder's getting a divorce, or has gotten a divorce. I can't remember. I caught the last part of his announcement. And so he said he's been dealing with it for the last year. And as we all know, over this past year, what happened between him and the Daily Wire? Daily Wire made him an offer, which he rejected, and added insult upon that by, recording calls between supposed friends, and so this is what's interesting about the truth. As more information comes along, and it could be months and months and months later, perhaps even years later, where the truth comes out about a specific incident and you start to understand. Now I start to understand this whole story a little bit better. A lot of people, when this argument between Crowder and the Daily Wire started happening, people were like, pick a side. And I was like, get out of here with that. I don't want to see my friends fighting. Is everything okay with Steven? Because this seems out of character to somebody who is supposedly a moral person. It's like when that happened, I remember telling EK, is like, I couldn't imagine ever being on the phone with you and had like wanting to record that phone call for future reference, you know? And so if you understand that maybe, you know, Crowder was going through, you know, epic heartbreak, epic hurt, you know, it's like, why are you lashing out at friends? I mean, I was 30 something once too. Okay. I was 20 something once too. I was, 18 once too. You know, I've done that. I've been mad at something else and lashed out at a friend. You know, I've done that. But, I've become a person who is less likely to do something like that. And so now everything comes a little bit more into focus. If Steven Crowder's getting a divorce, why all this animosity between, the Daily Wire? It comes into focus. And I think it's really, really interesting, really telling. I still like Steven Crowder. Divorces must be awful. I understand that, especially, you got a young kid. But you really shouldn't have burnt that bridge. I think the Daily Wire are good people, it's like, but, they need to make money. And did she divorce you because you didn't take the offer? Ooh, I don't want to be mean, but could that be it? So you restructure your business. Hopefully you can still make a living, Steven Crowder. I still like you. Still try to watch your show, but Rumble's kind of a pain in the butt, and the dump button, I really don't like that. I'd rather you just, do it on YouTube and, take your chances, I suppose. But, it's a litigious world we live in these days. I get it. I don't know. It's tough for us, especially those of us who have lots more viewers than I do. All right. I don't know if I have enough time to get into this stuff, talking about my childhood. But I saw some kids playing outside earlier today. I was outside for a cigarette, and I saw some kids playing in the yard, and I was like, holy cow. When was the last time you saw that? And I guess I've been thinking about my childhood a lot lately. And it's like, especially like when I lived up in Lake Placid, New York, it was, I had an Atari. I had an Atari. But if it was a summer day, or a day like today, we had a beautiful couple days lately here in Virginia, here in Fredericksburg. It's been like 68, 70 degrees. It's like, perfect. It's like the whole world is air conditioned. It feels great. I remember the summer days in New York where, the hottest it'd get to be 72 degrees or something like that. And, we'd be playing baseball all day in my front yard using Frisbees as bases with a wiffle bat and wiffle ball. Sometimes we get an aluminum bat or a, wooden baseball bat and a tennis ball. But you're still, more likely to break a window even with that. Depends on the window, how old it is. And so, we had video games, but there were squares on a screen moving around. It's like playing video games is something that you'd only do on a rainy day, and if you read all your comic books, it's like you'd read the comic books before you started playing video games. And so, I mean, it's different these days because kids, they have so much entertaining stuff, on their pads, their tablets, their phones, and so forth. It's like, when was the last time they played outside, played a game of baseball, like all day? It's like, I remember doing seriously 18 innings until somebody gets called for dinner and, we don't have enough people. I mean, we have plenty of ghost runners, lots and lots of ghost runners. You would not believe how many ghost runners we could summon, but you never need more than 2 or 3. So, but I mean, we get in these arguments. It's like, oh, I could summon all sorts. I could summon 1,000 ghost runners. It's like, yeah, but we only need 3. And there's no point in putting somebody in a ghost outfielder because, they're useless. They're intangible, And, and it seems like their imagination has suffered. That generation that are coming up with all this entertainment at their fingertips, their imagination has suffered. Their desire to interact in the world, like physically, not digitally, but physically interact in the world, is way down. Is so not cool right now. It's out. In is being introverted and alone. And I don't really get that. You know, and I guess it's just I was a part of that lucky generation where the video games was just so crappy that you're like, yeah, I'd rather do jumps on my bike than play this game. Now video games, you know, you log in and whoo, you're in this other world and you got all this other crazy stuff that you can do. You know, back then we just had a game that got progressively faster every level you went up, you know? So we're like, screw this. You know, the bomb man in the kaboom is just moving too damn fast. You need to be a computer yourself to beat it. And you would. You would have to be a computer yourself to beat it. And that was the point. It's like, we're like, screw this. Let's go jump our bikes. There's a new dirt bound by the house that they're building at the end of the street. Let's go jump off of that. Seriously, why don't kids do that anymore? And so I guess I just look back upon these halcyon days of my youth and, you know, did I really have it the best? It's like, no, I think every kid time, their childhood is as awesome as mine was, you know, except in different other ways. You know, I like comic books. Somebody else like baseball cards. It's as simple as that, you know, but I do think that, you know, there has a severe impact on a child's health, you know, their child's health as they grow up and they're sedentary. They're sitting on their butts watching something on a tablet or phone all the time. It's like me, I was riding my bike for a half mile, you know. It was like, where's this dirt mound? Half mile? Let's find it. You know, riding your bike carrying a big piece of plywood. We're going to find a rock to put this on and we're going to jump stuff. You know, playing baseball, running around the bases. And sometimes we play football. We had the lake right near our house for a time, and then the lake dried up. No, we moved. We had this lake by my house, and we'd go down there and we'd swim all the summer day long. The water would be like 58 degrees because it was Mirror Lake in upstate New York. It never got higher than like 60 degrees, and that's like the hottest point of August, you know. And I don't know. It's just, was I unique? I'm sure there's an entire generation of people my age that had similar experiences. But is that lost with my generation? Or do you think the kids will come back around to finding the simple joy of riding a bike on a summer day? Playing baseball in your front yard with a few friends from the neighborhood. Just that idea is like walking out your front door and looking around your neighborhood for someone to play with. Like, seriously, I remember, like, I would get up in the morning, I'd have my cereal, watch like a little bit of cartoons, and then it'd be a nice day out, and so I'd get some shoes on, I'd get on my bike and start riding around the neighborhood, see who's out. Maybe even walk up to my friend's door, knock on the door, and say, hey, is Josh here? He's like, hold on. And Josh is like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm playing Asteroids. It's like, dude, that game sucks. And he's like, yeah. And it's like, let's go play video games. Let's go ride our bikes. I found this new jump. Anyway, are we the last of the people who have ever done that? I hope not. Anyway, I'm done gossiping. Let's go ahead and get into the actual news worth knowing. That's one bottle of water down. People would comment on back when I used to do the show in the evenings and I drink beer. And it's like, you drank 4 beers during an hour-long show. It's like, yeah, that's about right. Beer every 15 minutes, that's about right for me. And they said, don't you think that's a lot? It's like, no, but you see, even if I'm not drinking beer, I drink a lot of water. I drink about 6 of these a day. That's why I keep my old Gatorade bottles, because they fit perfectly in every cup holder. You notice? I mean, seriously, there's some cups and some bottles that, like, you ever get those like liter bottles of like Pepsi or Dr. Pepper or something like that, which you should never drink. You know, you'll never be able to fit it in a cup holder. But Gatorade bottles fit perfectly in a cup holder. Anyway, that's news worth knowing. All right, let's go to this news. Talk about Mexico a little bit. Authorities find 8 bodies in a Cancun resort as drug cartel violence rages. The bodies of 8 people were found dumped in the Mexican resort of Cancun, one of the country's most popular tourism destinations, authorities said on Tuesday. The bodies were discovered over the weekend about 10 miles from Cancun's beach and hotel zone after police launched a coordinated effort to search for the missing people in wooded lots and even sinkhole ponds, also known as cenotes, Mexican authority says. Or cenotes? It's Mexico, so I guess cenotes. All right, new paragraph. Oscar Montes de Oca, a head prosecutor of the Caribbean coast state of Quintana Roo, said 5 of the bodies were found at the abandoned construction site. 3 were subsequently identified as previously reported missing people. 3 sets of skeletal remains were discovered in a separate site in a wooded area on the outskirts of Cancun near a poor neighborhood, close to the resort's airport, authorities said. They have not yet been identified. Oh, my Lord. Montes de Oca, said authorities estimated the bodies were dumped there between 1 week and 2 months ago. According to the government, more than 112,000 people are listed as missing throughout the country. While crimes are more common in other areas of the country, Cancun and other resorts are typically regarded as safe travel destinations. Who says that? Anyway, drug cartels have begun disposing bodies of their victims in clandestine body dumping grounds, especially as several cartels fight for control of the Caribbean coast and its drug trade. Got all those people who go to Cancun for the weekend by. Idiots. Authorities carried out similar searches in Felipe Carrillo Puerto, which is about 140 miles south of Cancun. Volunteers, including the relatives of missing people, assisted investigators in the searches. Search dogs were also used. Earlier this month, four men were killed in Cancun following a dispute related to a drug gang activity. The dead men were found in the city's hotel zone near the beach. A U.S. tourist was also shot in the leg in a nearby town of Puerto Morelos in March. Cancun remains the top destination for Americans vacationing in Mexico. You shouldn't go to Mexico. All right? You know what's happening there.
No están safe.
No están safe, EK says. I don't even know if that's the correct verb pronunciation. That's where, like, verb conjugation, tore my mind apart. Anyway, U.S. State Department issued travel guidance last month that warns travelers to exercise increased caution, especially in their results like Cancun, Playa del Carmen, and Tulum, anytime after dark. In 2022, 2 Canadians were killed in Playa del Carmen, which is about 40 miles south of Cancun. In 2021, the town of Tulum, anyway, about 80 miles south of Cancun, 2 foreign tourists, including 1 American and 1 German, were killed when they were apparently caught by gunfire from rival drug dealers. So does that mean they were the drug dealers? Including 1 American and 1 German were killed when they were apparently caught by gunfire from rival drug dealers. So makes it sound like the 1 American and 1 German were drug dealers and they were shot by the rivals. I don't know. It's the editor and me coming out. I'm a little confused by that. It's like, every article you read is not your book, madman. I was like, okay, sorry. Trying to correct everyone's English. It's weird. It's like a family trait. Like almost everyone in my family does that. All right, let's go to this next story. Instead of the old Mexico, let's go to New Mexico, where a store owner was sleeping inside his business to prevent crime. He ends up shooting and killing a burglar who is tunneling through a wall. Like a cartoon. Would-be burglar tunneling into a smoke shop was shot dead by the store's owner who had taken to sleeping in the store to prevent break-ins, police said. Albuquerque Police Department officers responded to a shooting call on Saturday at around 4:30 a.m. and found the deceased burglar. KRQE News reported. The owner of the store told KOB4 News that there had been a previous break-in attempt before the store had officially opened for business. Nose is itchy. The owner said he was woken by a strange sound and found that the burglar had tunneled through the wall and began waving a large hammer and a chisel, causing the owner to fear for his life. The outlet said, "Oh, I'm going to chisel you to death." According to the owner, he warned the burglar to leave the premises or he will shoot. But he claimed the burglar walked towards him and swinging, causing him to open fire. He's coming right for us. The suspected burglar was declared dead when police arrived on the scene. Police said they were investigating the incident as a justifiable homicide, and the owner was released after speaking with detectives. A store owner told KOB4 News that he had boarded up the hole and would soon be installing cameras. Albuquerque Police Department did not immediately respond to a request for a comment by Fox News Digital. Yeah, I'm sorry that it's come to this, but it's like these robberies and these burglaries, they've gotten so brazen these days. It's like, unfortunately, it's like I see all that like rioting and people breaking into stores on the videos like I see on Twitter and social media and other places, and it's just like unfortunately some people are going to get shot before people learn not to do that. When a big crowd of people starts breaking into a store, there's only one defense. It's like you got to shoot one of them. People are scared of the crimes, and unfortunately, that's people got to learn. Can't behave like that in society. And who breaks in through a wall? Why do you think you're a criminal genius if you come up with an idea like that? Yeah, I saw it in the cartoon. It's a really good idea. Or they'll see it like in a movie. And it's like, do you think they're going to make a movie? I'm going to tell you good ways to rob a bank or obvious ways to be caught robbing a bank. Anyway. Yeah. Also, like smoke shops. I hate to say it, but it's a seedier element, in many ways because of the the THC products that you can get there and stuff like that. It's kind of like a liquor store now, in the sense that people want to rob the liquor store. Why do you rob the liquor store? Well, I'll get some cash and some liquor, probably. All right, you get the rum. I'll handle the guy at the register. And so it's like in many ways they're kind of like a bigger, juicier target for criminals. These smoke shops and so forth. So oh well, I don't know. Let's go on to this next story. Let's talk about beer some more. We're doing it like almost every week for a month now, talking about beer in some way or another. So, ultra-right conservative beer expected to hit $1 million in sales since the Bud Light boycotts. Quote, it's a movement. All right, exclusive to Fox News, Conservative Dad's ultra-right beer, which launched immediately after Americans began boycotting Bud Light for its controversial partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney, is expected to surpass $1 million in sales since mid-April, Fox Business has learned. After only being in business for 12 days, Ultra Right is expected to surpass $1 million in sales by Sunday, gaining over 10,000 customers and selling 20,000 six-packs since the April launch. This is, quote, this is more than a beer company. It's a movement of people who are speaking up and saying, no, we're done. This is our line in the sand. Ultra-Right CEO Seth Weathers told Fox Business in an exclusive interview Tuesday, stressing that the sales are more of a movement of people than a purchase of a product. The price of a six-pack of cold ones stands at $19.99. But Weathers said the company is looking to lower costs as soon as this week. The conservative beer brewing with Big Kettle Brewing in Gwinnett County, Georgia. I think that's near Atlanta. Also generated $70,000 in shirt sales since its launch. Ultra Right initially took off after Weathers posted a viral video on Twitter to hit back against Bud Light's controversial campaign. The beer, which includes only 4 ingredients, is one of them water, is promoted as being 100% woke-free. Weathers' video, which reached over 46 million views, sparked some hate, but the conservative businessman told Fox Business that he is unfazed because the backlash from the left is part of the job. This is a quote, conservatives, we only got one shot. Do not miss your What the hell? Are you doing that? Conservatives, we only got one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow up big corporates' hold on us. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime, yo. Is that what he was doing? Was he rapping to sell this? Now I kind of want to look up the video. Who talks like that? You think you're Eminem, dude? And you're running an ultra-right beer company. Why did you say it like that? We only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow up. Were you doing that? I hope so. I don't know if it's worth $20 a six-pack, but hey, that's pretty funny. Alrighty, yeah, so Bud Light rival said, encouraging customers to not just speak out against the beer company, but stop buying Anheuser-Busch products altogether. Alyssa Hinnerscheid, the vice president of marketing and the brain behind the campaign with Mulvaney, took a leave of absence from her position after a multitude of beer drinkers began boycotting the brand. While many viewed her leave as a good thing, Weathers pointed out that there is no conservative victory without an apology. Correct. Someone is on highly paid leave, so there's no conservative victory. Exactly, the CEO said. They did not apologize. They did not say that hiring this person as a spokesperson was wrong, and they won't. I hope they do. Anyway, but Weathers encouraged Republicans to hold the line and never buy another Anheuser-Busch product again. They think conservatives are stupid, he went on to say. This behavior from big corporate will never end until conservatives hold the line, Weathers said. We'd never follow through, but this is our chance. Never buy another Anheuser-Busch product again, ever, period. Until we cause permanent economic harm to a woke corporation that treats us like garbage, they will never stop. I agree, man, but Miller Lite's cheaper, and it's already out there. I know they had their own controversies, but $20 a six-pack, I'm on your side, but that seems a little steep for my poor ass. You know, if you're a patron, become a patron over at patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Maybe we could talk. And I'll do another ad for you, which is what I just did, basically.
Shameless plug-in to get the job done.
What'd you say? Shameless plug-in, you get the job done. EK's over there in his own little chocolate factory. You know, every single time, you know, I'm wandering around in my own brain, I forget that EK's in the room, and then he'll say something, and he's wandering in an entirely different chocolate factory than I am. Anyway. In his mind. All right. Let's talk about these idiots. So 673 university professors signed letter opposing courses on America's founding and the Constitution. Listen to this. Do not go to UNC. Hundreds of professors at the University of North Carolina. This is one university? And you have 673 professors there? Anyway, hundreds of professors at the University of North Carolina signed a public letter on Tuesday opposing legislation that will require university students to take courses on America's government and founding documents.
Opposing legislation?
Opposing. The 673 UNC Chapel Hill professors revealed the public letter Tuesday, arguing the new courses and another bill in the North Carolina House of Representatives will constitute an infringement on the university's academic freedom. The first piece of legislation, House Bill 96, will require students to take a 3-credit-hour course covering America's founding and history. Required reading from the course would include the U.S. Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Emancipation Proclamation, at least 5 essays from the Federalist Papers, Dr. Martin Luther King's letter from Birmingham jail, and the Gettysburg Address. That sounds like stuff I read like in high school. Anyway. The professors argue the legislation, quote, violates core principles of academic freedom and substitutes ideological force-feeding for the intellectual expertise of faculty. Intellectual expertise of faculty. That's them saying, we're smarter than you. We, the professors, are smarter than you. No matter, and that you is second person plural. That's everyone else. They think they know better than everyone. And that's the point with these people. You're just another idiot. Probably because you didn't study the things you should have actually studied. Anyway, the second bill, HB 715, would eliminate tenure at UNC and its affiliated campuses. Aha! Establish minimum class size and requires colleges to report all non-instructional research performed by higher educational personnel at the institution. Yes. Good. The 673 professors decry both bills as an attack on expertise. See, it's just me. I'm so smart. You should listen to me because I'm smart. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a professor at UNC Chapel Hill. Arguing the American government courses constitute a little more than indoctrination. Whatever. See, the whole point of the Federalist Papers, for example, is it was an argument between our founding fathers over different ways to view our government. That's the point of studying that kind of stuff, is that even the people who formed our government were arguing over how the government should operate. And that's why you need to study these documents and understand the spirit of what they're trying to do with these documents like the Constitution and so forth. That's how education works. It's not a professor sitting up at the front of a room and telling you that the whole country is racist and only using like certain excerpts from the Constitution where it says black people are 3/5 of a person. And that's the only quote from the Constitution they want to show you. Anyway, ending tenure. Could you imagine being in a job so long that they can't fire you anymore? That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. You know, a guy who's been on the job 40 years could still do something that is a fireable offense. Anyway. This is, they went on to say, quote, if enacted, we believe these measures would further damage the reputation of UNC, and the state of North Carolina will likely bring critical scrutiny from the accrediting agencies that no undue interference in university affairs when they see it. The letter continues. You know, if this bill is passed, HB 96 passed through the North Carolina House of Representatives in March and is now making its way through the state Senate. Yeah. You people are idiots. You think you're smart, but you're idiots. And, you know, the damage that's being done to the university system, it's done by people like this, professors like this, you know. If you think you're an expert and you know everything there is to know, then you should be able to pick what you get to talk about in your courses. You're arrogant, you know. And you don't belong in the halls of academia. You belong on a street corner ranting like any other homeless man. And if you ask me, that's half you college professors look like you're homeless. Just the arrogance. The arrogance is the war on expertise. You know, the whole idea of tenure is that I'm so smart you wouldn't dare fire me. Blow it out your ass. You're just another person. I don't care how many doctorate degrees you got. That don't mean anything in the real world. You know, sitting around thinking great thoughts does not make you an expert. And most of the time, if you think you're thinking great thoughts, you are wrong.
You got a butthole like everybody else.
Yeah, you got a butthole, baby. That's one of the funniest like quotes. Is like this. We're in this bar. Was it you and me or was Jonathan? We were in this bar. This older black guy is like, this hot girl walks by. I was like, hey, what's up? Hey, how you doing? And she like just completely ignored him and walked by. And he goes, hey, baby, you got a butthole. And that's the point, you know. It's like you think you're good. You think you're too good for me. We all got a butthole, baby. Everybody got a butthole. You know, it's just, it's like I would never. It's like what. I could never, like, I know a lot about comic books. I would never consider myself an expert in it, you know, despite all the years of reading, collecting, and reading about comic books. I wouldn't even consider myself an expert in that. Even the, like systems administration, even when I was like top tier Unix systems administrator, didn't think I was an expert. And I certainly didn't think it was like that anyone who also worked with me may have an idea that I couldn't, you know, help utilize or assimilate into my own knowledge base. That's the whole point of learning stuff, is that you can learn stuff from other people and assimilate that into your own knowledge base. What? I feel like an idiot so often trying to talk about obvious things. It's like, why am I trying to explain obvious things? Anyway, let's get into the lighter side of the news before we get out of here. Cheer ourselves up. So this is a convoluted, crazy story. So a huge alligator in Pennsylvania measuring 8 feet removed from a resident's basement. Quote, I could hear him hissing. Animal control officers have removed an 8-foot alligator from a padlocked basement pen located inside Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in a home in Philadelphia. Quote, when we walked up to the padlock, there's this little window on the door, and you could see, it's like you see in the prison movies. Sarah Barnett, executive director of ACCT Philly, told Fox News Digital. We all kind of peered in, and he just went, oh crap. And we just went, oh crap. The original call to ACCT Philly requested the removal of a 5-foot alligator, but Barnett said that her team knew immediately this guy, later named Big Mac, M-A-C-K, was much bigger. He's, quote, he was just sitting there looking kind of out, Barnett said. It just made me sad because these animals are smart. They're not dumb animals. Yeah, they're vicious, cold-blooded killers. And that's me interjecting. She went on to say, it was just sad to see an animal like that in that environment. That's less than ideal when it deserves so much more. I agree, it doesn't belong there. That's a very nice way of saying an alligator doesn't belong in your basement. Big Mac measured 8 feet long, weighed 127 pounds, and is 12 years old. So, yeah, he probably could have, I don't know, he probably could have eaten me. Quote, when we got him out, it was a little bit nerve-wracking at the beginning, Barnett said. He got very stressed coming out and did a twist around a little bit on the catch pole that we had. Yeah, they do that. Try to spin out of it. Barnett, they're like natural wrestlers. Barnett said it took several people to safely secure him. We had one person sitting on the back just to restrain him, and then I was sitting on the tail while someone else was taping the mouth, Barnett said. You could hear him hissing. Because, 127 pounds, they could still fight, you know. You can hear him hissing, Barnett added. And you wish you could explain it to him. No, we're actually taking you somewhere better. You're trying to explain to a reptile. His brain's like this big. Come on now. Got him into the truck and it wasn't super graceful. You sit there like point at the TV, your dog, and your dog, like, look at the TV. Look at the dog on TV. And your dog's looking at your hand. What, you got food up there or in your hand or what? What do you think an alligator's going to understand? Anyway, Barnett said that a divorce led to the alligator being surrendered, as the owner's ex-wife did not want the reptile living in her basement anymore. The woman reportedly said she did not have anything to do with the feeding or caring of the reptile that had been living in her home for more than a decade. Like, you want to divorce me? You deal with this alligator. What a jerk. Barnett added that the woman told her the alligator had likely not been fed in a month. What kind of heartless person are you? Otherwise, Barnett said the alligator seemed relatively healthy. But Big Mac's actual size, compared to what was originally reported, changed the planned airplane ride that would have brought him to a Michigan sanctuary. We didn't have a container big enough for him, Barnett said, and the plane wasn't big enough for him, so we took him in, but we had to pivot and think about what would be the best alternative. Barnett's team created a habitat for Big Mac at a shelter where they installed heat lamps and a pool for him. Okay, that explains why you can do that in Michigan. He actually submerged his head, which is what they do to alleviate stress, apparently. So it's just the fact that it was comfortable enough and he could sense that he was relaxed. Well, I'm glad the cold-blooded reptile was relaxed. Since Big Mac could not stay at the shelter forever, Barnett reached out to several rescues, but apparently no one was able to take an 8-foot alligator. Barnett said a man named Crocodile Kyle, who grew up in Philadelphia, stopped in to inquire about Big Mac. Crocodile Kyle is Kyle Esplunda, who has, I hope I got that right, who has been passionate for crocodilians since he was young while traveling to Florida with his family. He loved exploring the Everglades on airboat tours, and he was in awe of alligators, according to Jaws, an organization that provides sanctuary to gators. Barnett said Jaws has amenities for Big Mac and other rescued animals. What's cool about the sanctuary, this is a quote, is you got these amazing holding pools for the alligators. They get to live their natural life. It's not like they're being paraded around. They're just natural crocodiles and alligators, which is really awesome, I guess. Excuse me. Barnett said reptiles are often overlooked as animals in need of rescue. Nobody really cares about reptiles. Yeah, because they don't care about us. Barnett said everyone focuses on dogs. Yeah, the likable ones, dogs and cats. But no one focuses on reptiles. Because every guy I knew who had a snake growing up was weird. That's why. ACCT Philly takes in a couple hundred, if not more, reptiles in a year. Barnett added, mostly turtles. A reptile can live to be 30 if, what are they, like living in Logan's Run or something? And then their hand starts blinking red and they got to renew. Anyway, if someone is really considering an animal like this, I would suggest honestly reaching out to a rescue organization and fostering first, because then they can see what it involves, or volunteer at a zoo. Barnett added. Okay. It's like I said, it's like every guy I knew who had a snake growing up was weird. And every guy who like keeps an alligator in his basement is probably definitely weird too. You can tell a lot about a person, about like the kind of animals they like. Remember when Dennis Reynolds like started insulting dogs on that TV show and the public turned against him? People have no forgiveness for stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I'm sure I pissed off a couple of reptile lovers. Like, I love my iguana. And it's like, that thing fantasizes about being big enough to eat you. You know what I mean? I bet he's tasty. All right, let's go to this last story, a little heartwarming story. So, Arizona woman finds a heartwarming note tucked inside a $2 book at Goodwill. Now she's searching for its owner. I guess that involves research. So the search is on for an intended recipient or the author of a heartfelt message that was found inside of a book at an Arizona Goodwill, which has become a message of hope for an entire community. Believe, Trent, believe, the note said with certain words underlined for emphasis. It went on to say, you are loved and respected. So let's get going. The ride may be bumpy, but we will get there. When you believe in you as much as I do, you will be there. Dad. Rose Farmer, 46, of Gilbert, Arizona, was recently shopping in her local Goodwill with her mom and 7-year-old daughter. She was searching for the aisles for a costume. I went there but you picked up a book. Well, this would make a good costume. I went there. I'm going to go with Cicely Tyson. All you need this book. Anyway, so I went there on Sunday begrudgingly, and we found something. Why? You ashamed to go to Goodwill? You too good to go to Goodwill? Anyway, we found something for my daughter to wear, Farmer told Fox News Digital. Then I just wanted to go look at the books real quick. Oh, okay, there's an order of operations here. There's actually an older lady next to me. Ooh, that's a big glob of spit. There's an older lady next to me looking at books too. The woman, also a shopper, picked up a copy of The Heart is a Lonely Hunter by Carlson, which was first published in 1940. A handwritten note then tumbled out onto the floor, according to Farmer. The note was written on a piece of paper from the Monterey Plaza Hotel and Spa in California, more than 700 miles away from the Goodwill shop. And I thought, wow, what an amazing special note, Farmer said. It's about overcoming any obstacle by believing in yourself, and also having someone believe in you. She went on, especially since it was his dad. So who knows what Trent was going through at that point when his dad wrote this note, It really spoke to me at the moment. Farmer asked the fellow shopkeeper if she could have the book. Have the book. But look at this cute thing I found inside of it. So then take the cute thing. Leave the book. Okay, so they said she said it was 50% off that day, so I spent about $2 on the book. She went home and posted a picture on Go Gilbert, a community Facebook page, to see if anyone recognized the note, the book, or even the handwriting. Farmer said she did not immediately find a connection, but she was touched by the overwhelming response. Quote, it just received so many likes and comments from people, Farmer said. Someone said, I'm not Trent, but this note spoke to me. Someone else said, my son's name is Trent, and it's as if this note was written just for him. Everybody just seems really touched by it. And Farmer said one person commented, oh man, I really wish I had a dad like Trent. Aw. That crushed me a little bit because I thought, this is what she said, wow, everybody should have somebody in their life that they can turn to. Yeah. Post garnered over 1,000 likes, which Farmer said has motivated her to keep searching. So if nobody really cared, you wouldn't. Anyway, people really want me to find Trent or Trent's dad, Farmer said. Oh, I see. The other people are kind of forcing you to do it. I get it. It's like a hostage situation, extortion. Anyway, trying to follow every possible clue, Farmer said she reached out to the hotel that's named on the stationery, hoping the hotel would post a note on its Facebook page, and the guest who wrote it would see it. She has not heard back. She said she has not seen any mention via the hotel's social media. The note was pretty new, so I thought maybe it was somebody who went there and they just took the paper home, she said. But you'd never know. It could have been from somebody from across the country. That got Farmer thinking even more. So she wondered, did Trent ever see the note? Did he read the note? It was tucked in the pages of the book, so it's possible that the son never found out how much his dad believed in him, Farmer suggested. All right. Did he know that the note was in there, Farmer said? Maybe he never got to read the message. The heart is a Lonely Hunter is a story of John Singer, a deaf man in a small town in Georgia. When he loses his only deaf companion, Singer is left isolated and alone. Last month, we spoke with the late Cicely Tyson about her life and career as she teased her new memoir, Just As I Am. You can read her interview here, blah. Yeah, she was in Heart, Lonely, blah, blah, blah. Nice Cicely Tyson played in the movie. Anyway. Let's see if anything more. All right. Farmer says that she feels there's good reason that she's the one who found the note and that it would mean a great deal for her if she could locate the owner. I don't think he realized how much he lives with, how many lives he touched with that note, even though it wasn't meant for me to share for it, everybody. It is kind of private. She went on, I feel like it would have been a wonderful feeling to know that, hey, you touched a lot of lives, even though you may not have meant to. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I read this note and I read this story and I remember all those letters I got from my dad in boot camp. He wrote me like once a week when I was in boot camp and giving me like encouragement and so forth. And, you know, I know it's scary. I know people are dicks, but you know, we're here for you. You know, we got your back, you know, I can't help you there in boot camp or whatever like that. But, you know, as a family unit, you know, we're a team. We work together. We're kind of like your boot camp group, you know. We're all a team. Anyway, so this is going to be the end of the show. I want to remind you again that I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron there. I would appreciate that. Shock Monkey Radio as the cash tag. If you want to use Cash App to Cash App me money, you can do that. Or you can follow me on Twitter at DNA, LETSAW. That's the word wasteland, spelled backwards. Shock Monkey Radio Redux on Facebook and at SL Roberts 13 on Instagram. I would appreciate that. I also have books available for digital download. Search for the author Scott L. Robbins with 2 T's and 2 B's on Amazon.com. Or you can follow the links down in the description below. So this is the end of the show. This has been Shock Monkey Radio. I'm the Madman, and I love you.